people stuck on a boat alone in the middle of the ocean for 10 days. Why would anyone do this? I hate this. This sucks. We are the McKays, and this is Firefly. Join us as we journey to 100 islands. We are officially cruisers. We are going around from island to island, living full-time on our boat. But now, it's getting serious. As much as we love Vanuatu, we can't stay here forever. The main reason we need to leave can be summed up in one word: cyclones. Sailing on a boat makes the weather our master. We are constantly at the mercy of wind predictions and forecasting. So far, we use Predict Wind most of the time. They use different projections from different sources, and funny enough, they never agree. So that leaves us feeling all nice and fuzzy, knowing that we know nothing. But one thing is certain, that tropical storms do happen. Wait, two things are certain. Tropical storms do happen, and we don't want to be anywhere near one. Simplifying things a bit, tropical storms are called different things. Around the Americas, they're called hurricanes. If they're south of the equator, they're called cyclones, and around Asia, they're typhoons. But really, they're all just tropical storms. Tropical storms can only happen when the oceans get really warm, so they only happen in summer. But since the Earth tilts around the sun, when it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the south, and vice versa. Right now, we're in the southern hemisphere, so right now, it's summer. So yes, right now, it's cyclone season. We are late, but we need to get out of cyclone zone now. The tropical storm zone goes from 30 degrees latitude line to 5 degrees latitude line up north and lasts from June to November. Then from November to May, the tropical storm zone is from 5 degrees south to 30 degrees south. These aren't always right. In fact, as I speak, there's Cyclone Gabriel that's about to hit New Zealand, which is below 36 degrees latitude. So yeah, tropical storms don't follow the rules. Storm predictions aren't always right, but most sailors want to stay out of these zones at these times of the year. Being in Vanuatu, we have two choices. We can run north and head up to Micronesia. Now, Micronesia is called that because it's made up of a million tiny islands, which would be quite the adventure, hopping from one remote tiny atoll to another. But we also have the choice of going down past the Tropic of Capricorn to Australia. We didn't know what we were doing, so we decided to go north. We started sailing from one Vanuatu island to the next until we got to Santo. As we traveled, we felt more and more like we should go to Australia instead of Micronesia, and then our dinghy broke down.
So our boat wouldn't start, but this guy is giving us a tow after we rode halfway home, which is really nice.
No one in Santo had parts for our dinghy, which we are completely dependent on. This tipped us over the edge, and we decided to go to Australia. As fun as remote islands are, Australia meant easy access to boat parts, meeting other cruisers, and the internet. There has been a massive change of plans. We have to go back to Afate, back to Port Vila, which means this whole journey through the islands has been nothing but a practice of beautifulness. I don't regret it one bit. We looked into Australian visas and realized that we needed full medicals. The only working x-ray machines in Vanuatu were back on Afate, so we turned the boat around and headed back home. Going north, we were able to stop at all these beautiful islands and have quite an adventure, but this time, as we go south, we're just going to go boom as fast as we can. We're even going to do a night crossing, my first night crossing ever. This is the first time on a boat that I've seen the sunset while we've been traveling. It's going to be an interesting night of taking shifts and being on the ocean all night long. I was pretty intimidated, but it just so happened that we left about the same time as the Vanuatu ferry, and we traveled about the same speed as the ferry the entire crossing. That comforted me since I knew we could get a hold of them on VHS radio if anything went wrong. but Dustin hated it because he was so worried about running into them or getting in each other's way.
When you're walking on the sidewalk and you're walking just a little bit faster than the person in front of you and there's that awkward moment, this is that same awkward moment but with boats. So this is that moment. I've got this like sailboat here, this little fishing boat here, and this giant cargo boat there, and another little fishing boat there. You guys can't see them, but I can. And we're all looking at each other going like, who's gonna slow down? Who's gonna speed up? How are we not gonna hit? You know, it's just awkward.
Regardless, we made it back to Afate, only to learn that our house hadn't sold. The sale of our Vanuatu house was supposed to fund our cruising adventure, so now that we haven't sold our house, our finances are a bit more strained than expected. But money or no money, cyclones were coming. So we got our medical checkups for our visas and headed for Australia, this time going south. I was actually really happy about our change in plans because this meant we could finally go to Tanna, an island we had wanted to go to for over 15 years. If you missed our last vlog about our adventure, I highly suggest you check it out. Was that scary? Tana did not disappoint. And while we were at Tanna, we checked out of the country of Vanuatu, which was no easy task.
He's in another island checking in people from a cruise ship. So then the customs officer, not the immigration officer, the customs officer drove us down here and dropped us off, and now he's driving to the airport to try finding the boss of all the customs and bring the boss of all the customs here so that somebody can stamp our passports so that we can legally leave the country and legally re-enter as residents. Maxwell got his Australian visa. Abraham got his Australian visa. William got his Australian visa. Hiram got his Australian visa. Daniel got his Australian visa.
This could not be done at a better time, right as we're leaving the country, because we needed to get these Australian visas before we entered Australia, and these are 1-year visas, not just the small 3-month visas.
Of the story of our saga of customs is that Stanley went to the to the house of an immigration officer who's on his vacation, and said, "I'm standing in front of you and I need your help." And so the guy came and helped us.
We are ready to leave this country. It's both good and bad. Our last night in Vanuatu, we had a family safety brief.
Same responsibility. You are responsible for making sure the boat doesn't hit anything crunchy, including other ships. Got it. Okay.
The reality of a long ocean crossing hit me, and I got pretty freaked out. This is it. We are putting up our anchor, and we are heading to Australia. And we're gonna start it in the middle of the night. I have never been so freaked out. This is the scariest and most dangerous thing I've ever done, and I just went to a volcano, so that's saying a lot. Ooh, it'll take probably more than a week to go from Vanuatu to Australia. I've never done anything like this. This is gonna be crazy. I'm really stressed out. We woke up to no land surrounding us. So this is a new experience. I don't really love it. I always felt, even though the land was like 2 miles away, that somehow it was my security blanket. And now there's no security blanket. Here we go. We're headed to Australia. Now, we wouldn't see our destination for over a week. But as we left Vanuatu waters, we were met by a pod of dolphins. I decided to take this as a good omen.
Look at the dolphins! I'm literally sitting on the dolphin seat looking at dolphins. Okay guys, this is pretty freaking cool. I'm not even gonna pretend I'm not totally giddy. Look at them! I love it! Crazy
awesome! So many dolphins!
Oh, this one's a mama with a baby. Right in front of us. This is a baby to the left and a mom.
Another good omen was the full moon. When making future long crossings, we'll have to do this on purpose. But at this point, it was so serendipitous that we left right as the full moon was waxing. Because for our whole journey, our nights were lit up by God's flashlight, and I was so grateful. The most dangerous thing that can happen on a crossing is to lose someone overboard in the pitch dark. I'll never forget one night when the moon still hadn't risen, and the boys thought it was a good idea to do the laundry right then. They were leaning over the boat and everything in the pitch dark. I had to yell at them that I would rather they lived than lose a towel or two. Crossing for 10 days meant boredom, seasickness, and isolation from the outside world. We all handled this differently. Just a pile of boys.
The reason why I like crossings is because it's fun. I'm with my families. I like sailing and I get to do everything I love. Besides one, being with my friends. Well, at least I'm with one friend. Well, rather more.
So how's it going?
Good. Just bobbing along. We only have 898 miles to go. And that's just about 8 days.
So it's the first day on the passage. How do you feel, Ezra?
Pretty great.
So this is day 5?
4?
5 or 4?
Starting to lose track of time here. What's up? It's day 6. It's day 8 on the boating trip. And we are just a day away from our final destination.
We're so seasick that we find this entertaining.
Imagine that you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, just floating along, and you can't get off for another 7 days. There's nowhere to go. You're stuck with your family.
This is what meditation looks like on our boat.
Hey guys, this is the workout, okay? This is Daniel's workout. Okay, lunge it!
Oh, you suck.
Lunge! 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 We need another one. Okay. This is your workout. I want to get on the trampoline. Woo! That's scary. It's gonna make me ill. Oh, everyone scream! I never wanna.
Nice! It's because you're skinny! It's because you're skinny! No, it's because he has abs, Ezra. Abs! Which I do not.
Oh, William!
Go Williams! This is how we exercise during our crossing and overcome boredom as well. Actually,
That was awesome,
I haven't overcome boredom. I'm like stuck in this area, in this small area. If I leave it, I get nauseous, and I'm a little bit nauseous even in this area. I feel like I'm on bed rest. I get seasickness the most out of the bunch, so I was stuck in the cockpit where I could feel the breeze on my face and see the horizon in all directions. I was pretty useless most of the time. This is about the third night that we've spent crossing, and I've realized something. If I am laying down, I don't get seasick. But the second I sit up, I have to do things really, really fast and get up to the top where the cockpit is, otherwise I get sick. So now I'm awake, but I'm too scared to get out of bed because I don't want to get sick. But sometimes I felt well enough to be a mom. So we're doing some homeschool on our crossing, and what is the question that they just had you read? What is it?
Have you ever been to an island?
Have you ever been to an island? What?
No.
I'm finally feeling good enough that we can do school.
4 nautical miles, there'll be a surprise.
Yay.
We're gonna paint our
Why
bellies
did I
with
make
chocolate,
that face?
and dance.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
When we get to the halfway point, what are we gonna do, hon?
Paint our bellies with chocolate and dance.
So on long crossings, you get as bored as can be, and so we've been listening to audiobooks, which has inspired William to write his own audiobook, and we have been writing out our brainstorming and our plot, but Dustin keeps on interjecting, and this is some of his suggestions.
So William's character had to get mail delivered from parents that have been captured, and I suggested that the nail come in the form of an enchanted snail that slowly slimes out the letters. Call it snail mail.
What do you think of that, William?
Weird.
Okay, so the best friend sent them the letter, but why can't the best friend help them anymore?
The best friend only has one leg left because he had to chew off his own leg in order to escape and ride the snail. Yeehaw!
We're not getting very far with all of these interjections from Papa.
Yeah, but my story's better. William's laying the foundation of the story, and I'm helping. I'm adding like the gargoyles and the parapets and everything. I don't actually know what a parapet is, but I know it's part of a building. Or it's a bird. But I'm adding those.
Since I was stuck in the cockpit, I was a navigator all day long, so at least I was doing something. Meanwhile, Josh and Elise were going insane.
My niece has resorted to paganism. She's got her smudge stick going. Hoping that helps.
I'd rather not be in this video.
It's really bad, guys. Elise read every book on the boat twice and got way too much sun. Josh did other things to keep his mind busy.
With my friends, I'm a country boy and I'm never gonna disappear. On the country roads.
Josh, what are you doing? Like, there's swells, and you're just climbing the rigging. At least you have a life jacket on.
Of course. Safety first, kids.
Yeah.
Mom, you can be proud of your son. He's doing artwork. Boom! How about that?
Whoa, look at
that looks
these. Let's see
He
it.
got bored out of his skull.
Yeah, let me show Lindy.
And it's funny because it's a skateboard. Right?
Yep.
So there's like a little bit of...
Oh, I should have said like B-O-A-R-E.
Yeah,
oh,
you should've
board.
done that board.
I messed it up. But anyways,
Would've
woo.
been better.
Check it out. There we go. That's what happens when you get bored on the boat.
My boys saw the crossing as a great excuse to play on electronics, but also to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't know what that means.
What are you guys doing?
I mean, I know what that means.
It divided by half.
D&D! D&D!
There was only one problem.
Beautiful day, and I was like, well, let's play D&D. So I bring out my nice, beautiful D&D books, and a huge wave, like, biggest one, just boom, and then I see my D&D books fall overboard and sink, and it was like the most dramatic thing. Okay, I didn't see it sink. It was just like...
Sometimes the coral sea would create a distraction for us. In fact, one day we saw sharks.
Oh, that's a shark. That's a shark right there.
You're right!
Wait,
They're all feasting their shark.
Ew. Oh my goodness. Look at that jellyfish. Holy cow. Look at the size of those. Guys, don't swim in the water.
The sunsets always took our mind off of the monotony of life. They were truly magnificent. I had no idea that the sky could even look like what we saw. Has anyone else seen a sky split between pink and blue? I will never forget it.
Half of it's pink and half of it's blue.
I know, isn't that crazy? That's what I was saying.
And there's a star.
Oh, sad that none cameras can match our vision.
Even with the glorious sunsets, I was sick of being sick and getting sick. It says 75 hours. And it's been saying 75 hours for the past 75 hours. Like, we're never gonna get there. I'm so done. I am so sick.
You can go up to 2,500 RPM if you want.
I hate this. This sucks. I was crying because it said 75 hours was left, and it said that like 2 days prior. And so then Dustin just got rid of the estimated time of arrival. It's not on the computer anymore.
To help with the depression.
So that I can't even know, so that I can't cry
But
about
now
it.
it shows how many miles we've gone, so you can feel the progress.
Yeah,
Right?
something
We've
like
gone
that.
6,000 miles.
And sometimes the boat itself would create a diversion for us. A diversion in the form of something breaking down. We are already experiencing some crazy things. So our water pump, our freshwater pump, just turned off, but Dustin fixed it. One of the main reasons why I even agreed on this whole adventure is because I knew Dustin was a handyman. If you want to live on a boat and do blue water crossings, you have to be a handyman, or you just might die. Honestly, don't you agree, hon?
Well, I actually think that's not wrong. I think there's a lot more. Sailing is not the hard thing. As my brother-in-law Norman says, fixing your water maker is. And I thought that was a joke until it happened and my water maker went out. And I became instantly worried about the safety of my family because without water, you die. I got the water running. I got the water running. I found the fuse box after taking apart the boat. Because there's no manuals for lagoons that are in English. You stop filming now.
Our Iridium stopped working. The way we were checking the weather and communicating with the outside world broke down 2 days before we arrived in Australia. Half of me was worried that all my family and friends that were following our location would freak out and send the Coast Guard after us, even though we were all right. And the other half of me was worried that they might not even notice, which meant if there was actually ever a problem, no one would help us. Either way, I felt like the boy who cried wolf when our communication stopped. Thankfully, we were almost to Australia.
No land yet, Captain.
Elise, we might have data!
I'm losing my cool.
Turned on. Boom. Now I've got data.
Oh my gosh, he has data!
Well, I might. Just give me a minute.
10 days without data! This is what we've turned into.
Oh, I lost it.
What do you see, Elise?
I see civilization.
Are you excited?
Oh, I've never been
What
more
are you
excited.
looking most forward to?
Kissing the ground.
We hoisted our quarantine flag and our courtesy flag and called the marina on radio. Immigration was waiting for us at the quarantine dock. It is so exciting to be going through the channel, but it's kind of confusing. The slogan, Red Right Return, is only in the United States. Like, what's up with that? Why do we even memorize that? Like,
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's like, how long does it take you to get from the United States to Australia? Like, you have months to get used to the idea.
That's true.
Outside of the dock, you'll see a large quarantine sign. I'll be there ready to grab your line as well, Anna.
Perfect, thanks so much.
Roaming thunder.
It suddenly started raining just as we're docking at the quarantine dock. It's really fun. Well, I said I was looking forward to a good shower. Now that we had gone through immigration, we had officially entered Australia. We had to wait for health officials to make sure we were COVID-free, and then we were let off the boat.
Bundaberg drink in Bundaberg, Australia.
Woo! Celebration!
That's kind of fun.
Finally made it to Bundaberg!
We can get off the boat! This is so exciting! Yay!
There we go.
The first time off the boat in like 10 days. I'm going to get some yummy food and not be seasick while I eat it. I am so stoked. I am so excited. Oh, yes!
I don't think she really cares.
Grass. You have no idea.
got some kangaroos.
For kangaroos, we have. Oh! Look at them, they're all like, what the heck? Oh, that one has a joey. We have been in Australia less than a day, and we are seeing wild kangaroos with little joeys in their pockets. Like,
First money right here.
the next day, biosecurity came and spent a couple of hours on our boat going through everything. They came away with garbage bags full of food they wouldn't let us bring into the country, took hundreds of dollars from our bank accounts, and declared our boat bug-free. Now we could finally go shopping, and right away we easily found the part for our dinghy and got it fixed. One of the biggest benefits of coming to Australia instead of the Micronesia is because
It's close.
look at all of this. We're able to fix our dinghy and we didn't have to wait for the part, and it was like a tenth of the price. So I like Australia. Also, waiting at the marina was a special gift for us. The internet!
This is our children's Christmas present.
What is it?
Starlink.
Now,
This Starlink is overkill. What
that is the satellite.
No, it actually comes with the. No. That looks cool.
That's the router that goes inside the house. Okay. So,
I'm just gonna check it out from right there.
yeah, that'll work. Download the app.
Plug it in. Now download the app.
That's what I'm doing.
Escape routes. I was in this outer space one and I found out that one of the power plants have electricity.
Our dinghy is fixed. We have awesome internet. So far, we are so excited to be in Australia. I know this might be disappointing to my subscribers from Australia. This is your home and you've seen it all. But to people from Canada and the United States, Australia is about as awesome as it gets. We are so excited for this next chapter in our boating adventure of discovering and sailing down the coast of Australia. Subscribe to join us next week as we discover our first stop in Australia.